Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about how to outsmart insulin resistance. What is insulin resistance? Well, I'm glad you asked. This is the animal cell. I love the animal cell. You could be any race, you could be any sexual orientation, and we're all going to be comprised of this cute little animal cell. So, insulin resistance, the function of insulin, is to bring energy into this little very cell. So, most of our chronic diseases are metabolic diseases, including cancer and mental health disorders. What this means is that our energy is not getting down into the powerhouse of the cell, the final stage of cellular respiration inside of the mitochondria. So, if we were to outsmart insulin resistance, the reason why I'm sitting outside now is to excommunicate from insulin, excommunicate my need from insulin. I have a codependent relationship with insulin and I want to get away from it. So I'm going to sit out in the sunlight because the sunlight can actually penetrate straight through my body into the cell and stimulate these little mitochondria, these powerhouses of the cell. This is some serious energy production here. And so when we don't have to involve insulin, when we are dependent of that insulin, we can stimulate and create an environment for insulin sensitivity. This is also why the number one reason exercise is so good for us is because we're actually stimulating these tiny little powerhouses of the cell, getting them to bump. And if we can turbocharge, if we can get the cells, the mitochondria, to work a bit better for us, we can actually turbocharge the cell as a whole. So this is just like a normal cell, but if you are going to, say, a harder working energy environment like your liver, heart, brain, kidneys, and especially like those neurons up in the brain, they use so much energy, so lots of mitochondria. And so you have to figure out what are going to be the best ways that I can resensitize my body. Well, again, I just threw out there sunlight and exercise. This is also why I'm a fan of animal protein because, well, we do need lysine and methionine, a lot of lysine and methionine, in order for the second stage of the chain within the mitochondria to work at all. We need carnitine, but we also need a bunch of other minerals to communicate with the cell's structure. And we also need those healthy fats because those actually create this membrane. So if we don't have a lot of healthy fats in our diet, or if we have a lot of unhealthy, polyunsaturated, unstable fats, the integrity of the membrane itself for the cell is not going to function for us. And we want it to function for us because we have trillions of these cells in our body. And what happens is humans can actually live on like a 30%. I always say humans can actually live on a 30% battery. So we could almost live half of our life starving, or more than half of our life starving at the cellular level, which is why our rates of diabetes type 2 and type 3 are so high, including other metabolic diseases that we have. But the body is so capable of living, it's capable of going through so much pain and living in that state of pain for like a really long time. But we don't always want that. So we want to lean towards insulin sensitivity because insulin resistance is the resistance to life. And if you look at the lifespan as a whole, if you look at the aging process as a whole, we become more insulin resistant as we get older. If you are struggling with a mental health disease as well, any neurological symptom, it's going to be hallmarked by insulin resistance. So a great book for those looking for a resource is, again, that Alzheimer's What If There Was a Cure by Dr. Mary Newport. It's the story of ketones and how to get the mitochondria bumping and jumping. This is going to be your key to getting past that resistance. And then one thing that I cannot not mention is the function of muscle. So it is so important to get the muscle function up and running to get some musculature on the body because it is going to be our structure of the bones. It holds our bones in place. and it also serves as battery packs to the brain and these other organs. So we need some of that little extra little battery juice to help us. And again, when we perform muscle contractions, we do stimulate a glucose transporter that is not insulin dependent, known as GLUT4. So we do want to be constantly trying to usher as much of that sugar in as possible to stay as far away as resistance, from the resistance as we can. We're always going through resistance. I'm going through resistance, you're going through resistance, everybody is resistance to life, and the body always wants to conserve energy, and that's how it does it through insulin resistance. So we're going to pack on a lot of fat as fast as possible because the body is trying to take care of us. It's trying to make sure that we'll be okay if we go through a period of starvation. But we're not in a period of starvation, we're in a period of energy density and outsmarting the insulin resistance. So it's one day at a time. Get out in the sun when you can. I just did a video today on Instagram and TikTok about the amount of lux available. So when you're out in the sunlight, when the sun is out and about, lux is a visible light available. So on a sunny day, it would be 10,000 lux available outside, about ish, allegedly. And when we go on a cloudy day, it's about 1,000. So it does drop off significantly. But when you're inside, it drops off even more significantly and it'll give you 100. So ideally, you want to be outside and communicating with these mitochondria as best as you possibly can. Even on a cloudy day, it's better to get out and about because we can stimulate the mitochondria in this way. It's better than staying indoors all day. But definitely on a sunny day, even if you have one day a week, to try and go outside and collect as much energy as you can. That's what I try to do. So I hope this video was helpful for you in some way. Hope it inspires you. And as always, good luck.